All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm calling the meeting for the joint meeting of the Boards of Directors for San Joaquin Hills Transportation Corridor Agency and the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency meeting to order. We will begin with an invocation by our chair, Patricia Kelly.
Please join me. Our Father, we do thank you for the meeting today and for the many opportunities that are before us as agencies. We ask for your wisdom and your guidance as we make important decisions on behalf of our residents and our communities. We ask for your hand of protection on our drivers, on our staff members, and on those who serve to protect us. Amen.
Thank you. All right, put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you, everyone. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Honorable Directors. Kaylee Doolittle, Clerk of the Board. I will now proceed with the roll call. Chair Wong.
I'm present.
Vice Chair Miller.
Here.
Director Beal. Director Chafee.
Present.
Director Lombard.
Here.
Director Murphy.
Here.
Director Trevor O'Neill.
Here.
Director Boyd. Vice Chair Will O'Neill.
Here.
Director, noted, thank you. Director Hess.
Here.
Director Hurt.
Here.
Director Minigar. You may be on mute.
Present. Minigar present.
Noted, thank you. Director Connors.
I'm here.
Alternate Stevens.
Here.
Director Vic Sorick.
Here.
Chair Kelly. Here. Director Bartlett. Alternate Goebel.
Present.
Director Kahn.
Here.
Director Penaloza. Director Taylor.
Here.
Director Wagner.
Here.
Director Chamberlain. Looping back, Director Beal. You may be
I'm here.
muted. Thank you. Noted. Director Boyd.
He's having trouble connecting. He needs someone to resend him the link.
Okay. Director Penaloza. Director Chamberlain. Madam Chair, noting the absence of Director Boyd, Director Penaloza, and Director Chamberlain, we do have quorum on both boards.
Great. Thank you very much. Now is the time that we have public comments. Madam Clerk, do we receive any written comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time during live public broadcasting, members of the public may address the Joint Boards of Directors regarding any items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Joint Boards of Directors, but no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. Written public comments received in advance of the meeting will be distributed to the directors. Live public comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person unless the chair, subject to the approval of the Boards of Directors at different time limits. Madam Chair, we have not received any email public comments. I'd like to refer to Ms. Hammond to see if we received any live public comments.
Good morning, Madam Clerk. There are no public comments.
Okay. Thank you. Seeing no public comments, and this will be the time that we end the public comment. Does the CEO want to make any comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. As with previous meetings, I ask the directors from both boards to use the raise their Zoom hand function if they have any questions or comments regarding any of the items today. As a reminder, those participating via teleconference can press *9 to raise your hand. If you have technical difficulty, please text the clerk or CEO and they will let me know. We have a few items on our agendas today, including a joint closed session discussion followed by a Foothill Eastern only closed session item. So let's begin with the San Joaquin Hills consent calendar, followed by the Foothill Eastern consent calendar. Madam Clerk, did we receive any public comments specific to the San Joaquin Hills consent calendar, items 1 through 4 or 6 through 9?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to refer to Ms. Hammond to see if we've received any live public comments regarding the consent calendar items noted 1 through 4 or 6 through 9 for San Joaquin Hills.
There are no public comments.
Madam Chair, noting there is a hand raised from a director.
Okay, Supervisor Wagner?
I'd just like to pull items 6 and 9.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So seeing we have no public comments, we will now proceed with the consent calendar. And Supervisor Wagner has pulled items 6 and 9. Are there any other items that directors wish to pull? I don't see any hands. Let's take take a motion first for the consent calendar for the balance first.
Madam Chair, I move
Consent.
Okay, moved by Supervisor Wagner and seconded by Chair Kelly. Madam Clerk, if you can take roll on the consent item.
yes, Chair Kelly? Yes. Vice Chair Will O'Neill?
Yes.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Heft?
Yes.
You may be on mute. Thank you. Noted. Director Hurt?
Yes.
Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Minigar? You may be on mute. Director Connors?
Yes.
Director Penaloza? Alternate Stevens?
Yes.
Director Taylor?
Yes.
Director Vic Sorick?
Aye.
Director Wagner?
Aye.
Looping back? Director Minigar? Director Penaloza? Madam Chair, noting the absence of Director Minigar and Director Penaloza, the consent balance calendar moves unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Wagner on item number 6.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 6, we are approving the board schedule for 2021, which includes a December meeting in Rancho Santa Margarita. It's a workshop, and I am told that there is absolutely no way staff is going to let this be held by Zoom. And I want to push back on that. Staff doesn't get to make the decision, the board does. We're still a couple of months out. We have $40,000 budgeted for this item, but no details as to what we're going to spend it on. We've done 2 fiscal year budgets totaling over $1 billion by Zoom. I think it is premature for this item to come forward now with the workshop, the planning workshop scheduled as it is with so little detail. So I would like to either defer that to another day and a day closer to the time of the meeting when we can decide whether Zoom is appropriate or not. We know the governor just signed some legislation allowing Zoom to continue. I think it is wrongheaded, and it is for this board to decide how we're going to do that meeting. And I need to see more details as to what that 40 grand is supposed to be spent on. So I believe this item, number 1, doesn't belong on consent because it's certainly not. something without some serious questions to be asked. And number two, at least with respect to the workshop, that we should table that to a later date until those questions get answered.
Okay, our CEO, Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Wagner, so the item today only notes the location of the physical portion of the meeting. It does not preclude the board from wanting to have it a component that is also virtual. Staff is not saying we will not do that. Absolutely, you are correct. That is the board's decision. Our recommendation, however, based on the duration of the workshop, as we've noted, or I've explained to all the directors, it's a day-and-a-half long workshop, and certain components of that are highly interactive with the board. It's not well suited for a Zoom meeting, but if the board wishes us to have a Zoom component, staff will do the best we can to set that up. The one thing I would be concerned with are the new requirements as it pertains to public comments. As you heard today, the requirement is that if the board has a virtual component to its meetings, then we have to allow the public to participate virtually as well. Now, we're going to be in an unknown environment where we don't have full control, mainly of the internet, right, and the internet connection speed. That does place a certain amount of risk on our ability to ensure that we can support the public comment requirement. But if the board wishes to still have that virtual component, staff will figure it out. But we can do that separate from the location. The physical portion of the meeting would still be at this location. But if some board members wanted to participate virtually, we'll do our best to set that up with the caveats I've explained.
Right.
Well, Mr. Johnson, I don't want to put you crosswise with some of your senior staff, but Mr. Chesney told me, my office, that there were to be, a very loud truck is passing. The virtues of Zoom. Mr. Chesney told us that absolutely no exceptions would be considered by you or your staff for that in-person meeting, and I don't appreciate that attitude. Maybe Mr. Chesney will deny it now, but I tend to doubt it. And if we can't assure public participation, why are we going down this route of something off-site? Yes, it's a day and a half, but we've got a nice big building that we paid a lot of money for. Why this change of procedure, and why this disagreement amongst senior staff as to whether Zoom is allowed or not? And you haven't at all addressed the $40,000 question on the table. What in the world are we spending that money for? If we don't do it off-site, maybe we can even save some money.
Yeah, so I will definitely circle with my staff on that, supervisor, and ensure my staff is on the same page with me. You're absolutely right. This is a board decision and discussion. In terms of why we are having an off-site location versus using our building, I know it's been a couple of years since the board has been here, but our dais and our facilities are extremely tight. We did look at the possibility of being able to provide some modicum of social distancing here in this building, and we could not pull it off. So we looked at the alternative of having another location. So we did a lot of research, and we identified the Bell Tower in Rancho Santa Margarita as a good location where we can have that social distancing at a very low cost. And that takes me to my response to your question on the $40,000. So that $40,000 is for the entire day and a half session. A small portion of that cost is for the facilitator that we discussed as part of the spring budget presentations. Then we wanted to make sure we recognize that we're asking board members, those who are going to be present, to be there for a day and a half. So, and the meetings start early in the morning and go into the dinner time. So we're making sure we're accommodating your needs for sustenance. So we do have some meals planned as well. We can definitely work with you as we finalize finalize everything. If you'd like a further breakdown on the cost, but the majority of the costs are for the facilitator The meals we're providing the board, and then a small portion, I think Director Beal helped us get a pretty good deal on that location that we plan to use.
So I guess my
After
question,
the board meeting is not the time for you to get on the same page as your staff.
Samuel, can
And
I,
all of that is still very, very loose. So further proof, I don't think this particular item is fully baked yet.
Samuel, can I provide some clarification?
That's okay, Mike. So your comments are noted, Supervisor. We can do that. Again, I would say this item denotes the location. If the board is uncomfortable with this location, at this late time, it would be rather hard for us to find a different location for the physical portion of the meeting. But again, the item before you today and having the physical location does not preclude the board if you want to have a virtual component to this meeting.
Our boardroom provides all the room we need. All right, I've said my piece. I think this is an easy one.
is there a, I guess the question would be whether or not the facility could accommodate some type of hybrid, or it's not possible?
We will figure out how to make it work, Madam Chair. There's just a level of risk. You know, key to making all this virtual stuff work is your internet connection. We're very fortunate in this building. The board approved contracts and dollars, so we have redundant, super high-speed internet connections. We will figure out how to make it work at whatever physical location. If it's something in this building or outside this building, we will figure out how to make it work. It's just an element of risk.
And this particular meeting, which is something that we've been talking about for quite some time now, is the strategic plan meeting.
Correct.
And it will be for a day and a half, which would require everybody's participation. I'm just looking through to see if there are other directors that have any comments, preference, or another on this item.
Madam Chair, I got a quick, I was trying to find my raised hand icon, sorry. I was gonna wait because I'm not on San Joaquin, but this is the same issue for Foothill Eastern.
Yes.
I tend to agree with Director Wagner. I don't understand why we're moving this. We do have the facilities to do this. We do have, it's as simple as, we push back on the social distancing thing, but it's as simple as saying, if you're vaccinated, or you want to wear a mask, if you're not vaccinated, whatever you want to do, I'm not required to social distance if I wear a mask. So we do have alternatives to this. If you want to have directors show negative COVID tests or whatever you want to do on this, there are a lot of options on why we could keep it at our own location to reduce that cost. So he's making a valid point. I am concerned that staff said that this would be no exceptions to the virtual, because we're pushing this back, and I already have a conflict with it. So I believe I said no, I couldn't believe that. So I do think there's an issue with what's going on, and that everyone's not on the same page, and maybe we do need to get on the same page on this.
Thank you. Director Connors?
Thank you. Thank you. The first thing I wanted to ask is, day and a half, is that going to be a half a day on Friday or a half a day on Wednesday?
Yeah, a half a day on Friday, Director.
Okay, I didn't have that on my calendar yet. So, and also I appreciate staff's attention to keeping everybody safe and practicing social distancing. And I understand Director Wagner saying if he wears a mask and he's been vaccinated, he doesn't have to social distance. But there may be some people who would prefer to maintain social distancing. And I think finding a facility where that can be done is a good idea. So I appreciate staff's efforts in that regard.
Thank you, Director Connors. Director Murphy?
Thank you. In deference to the comments, might I suggest that we simply take the December 9th meeting off this particular schedule, approve it for expediency, and bring this item back at the next regularly scheduled meeting. I don't think we have to deliberate the details today. points have been raised that need to be addressed. And that way we can continue to move on the agenda we have today. That just my suggestions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director Murphy. I think that was a good suggestion. So why don't, would you like to make that your motion, Director Murphy?
Well, I can only do that for
Foothill.
Oh,
Foothill
you're
East.
on
He's on Foothill.
Well, we'll hold that thought. Hold that thought.
I'll make that motion. This is Wagner.
Thank you, Supervisor Wagner. We have a motion to table only specifically the December 9th item.
So just for clarification, the motion is to approve the revised schedule, but for the December 9th, which will be left off for now.
Correct.
Correct. That's the motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
This is Cynthia, I'll second.
Okay, second by Director Connors. Madam Clerk?
Chair Kelly? Yes. Vice Chair Will O'Neill?
Yes.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Heft?
Yes.
Director Hertz?
Yes.
Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Minigar?
Aye.
Director Connors?
Yes.
Director Penaloza?
Yes.
Alternate Stevens?
Yes.
Director Taylor?
Yes.
Director Vic Sorick?
Aye.
Director Wagner?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the item number 6 passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And we will put this item for the November agenda. And as well as I can make the request that we have some discussion about logistics during our leadership meeting as well. And we'll definitely take all the comments into consideration so that we could have the best recommendation for our November meeting. Item number 9, Director Supervisor Wagner.
Again, and at the risk of being contrarian, this is to approve board chairs to negotiate Director Johnson's salary, and it's premature. It's an issue that's going to be discussed in closed session. It presupposes how that closed session discussion turns out. I think it's something that, if necessary, the board could authorize as part of that closed session discussion. It's entirely inappropriate putting the cart before the horse to do it here now in open session in advance of that closed session discussion, and again, certainly not on consent. So I would move either to table this or simply vote no on the item. But if we were to continue it or move it to the next meeting, that'd be appropriate as well.
Okay, Mr. Joseph.
Madam Chair, if I may make a point, my concern with doing it that way is that the Brown Act requires that if the agency is going to go into closed session and have a discussion with its negotiators, those negotiators need to be identified on the record before the closed session occurs. That's why we placed this item on the agenda prior to the closed session. And so if we did not identify the negotiators before the closed session, then the closed session could not include a discussion of compensation, any instructions to negotiators at all. The closed session would be limited to the evaluation portion of the discussion. So that's the concern with not doing it before the closed session.
Okay.
And it is entirely appropriate that we have the discussion as to evaluation in advance of any discussion of negotiating additional compensation. So I think you're making my point. Thank you.
I'm a little bit. Now I am officially confused by.
Well,
Bringing forward, and now that we're allocating money, bringing forward an update on the climate action plan.
Somebody else.
There's background noise from someone.
I'm sorry.
I-
Oh, okay, yes.
Maybe
Mr.
just
Joseph.
one final note, just to note for the record, the sequence for the closed session is in that order. That is, the first item is the evaluation. The second item is the discussion with negotiators regarding any instructions as to compensation. So they are to be taken up in that sequence. The problem is you can't go into closed session to do the second one unless you have first identified the negotiators. That's our
Right,
procedural boundary.
so I guess, the question is really, will we be able to still maintain a quorum that after a discussion on the compensation, on the evaluation, that we can come back to the public session and have this particular agenda item on who the negotiators are, and then return to our closed session to do a second discussion. So I think it's more of the will of this board, really. Do you want to do a two-step dance, or you just want to take care of it in one step? And that's what the purpose of the consent item is, so that we can continue our discussion in closed session without leaving closed session to come back, take this item, agenda item number 9 in public session, and then go back to a second closed session. I hope that clarifies things.
Madam Chair, you have a hand raised.
I have a hand raised. Oh, I have two. Oh, Director Stevens.
Yeah, I'd just like to move the item forward and do the one-step dance. I think it makes a lot of sense, and you've made a really good point about the quorum aspect of it. So I see no issue here.
Thank you. Director Connors? We have a motion by Director Stevens to move the item. Director Connors, you're muted.
Thank you. I agree that we should just go ahead. I don't think we should elevate the letter of the Brown Act. And I think we've had sufficient transparency here as required by the legislature. And I think we should go for what's expedient here.
All right. Alternate Goebel.
On behalf of Supervisor Bartlett, I support the comments of Supervisor Wagner that this item is putting the cart before the horse. We should have the discussion in closed session about the evaluation first.
Okay. So I have a motion by Director Stevens to move the item. Do I have a second? Was that by Director Connors?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll
Okay.
second.
All right, then I don't see other hands raised. We'll proceed with the vote.
Chair Kelly,
Yes.
Vice Chair Will O'Neill,
Yes.
Alternate Goebel,
No.
Director Heft,
Yes.
Director Hertz,
Yes.
Director Khan,
Yes.
Director Minigar,
Aye.
Director Connors,
Yes.
Director Penaloza,
Yes.
Alternate Stevens,
Yes.
Director Taylor,
Yes.
Director Vic-Sorick,
Aye.
Director Wagner.
No.
Madam Chair, the item passes 11-2.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Foothill Eastern consent calendar, we will pull items, is it 6 and 9? I want to make sure I have all the numbers right. 6 and 9 separately, and then take a motion just on the consent calendar 1 through 3, 5, 7, 8, and 9 first separately.
Madam Chair, can I interrupt to see if we do have any
yes.
public comments regarding the consent calendar items for Foothill Eastern, item numbers 1 through 3 and 5 through 9?
Yes, thank you for the reminder. Do we have any public comments on this item?
Ms. Hammond, do we have any public comments?
Madam Clerk, there are no public comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, this is Scott Boyce from Lake Forest. I'd like to move the remainder of the consent calendar.
I think Director Murphy had his hand up. He was, so I believe he wanted to make a motion. Am I correct, Director Murphy?
That's fine. I'll defer to my good colleague and second that for expediency purposes.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, if you'll take roll.
Chair Wong?
Yes.
Vice Chair Miller?
Aye.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Beal?
Aye.
Director Chafee? Director Kelly?
Yes.
Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Lombard,
Aye.
Director Murphy,
Aye.
Director Trevor O'Neill,
Aye.
Director Penaloza,
Yes.
Director Taylor,
Yes.
Director Voigt,
Yes.
Director Wagner.
Aye.
Looping back, Director Taylor, I don't think I got your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Madam Chair, looping back, Director Chafee, you may be on mute. Madam Chair, noting the absence of Director Chafee, the item passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. Moving on to consent calendar item number 6, with
Move the item. This is Director Murphy with the noted change in parallel with the previous board's activity.
Thank
This is
you,
Director Voigt. Director Voigt from Lake Forest will second that.
Okay, thank you very much. Supervisor Wagner, you have your hand raised.
I just was going to make that motion that it's in conformity, and if for expedience, we could move item 9 to also be consistent with the other agency.
Okay,
Voigt from Lake Forest will second that.
all right, thank you.
I guess that's a substitute motion, and let's just get rid of both of them at the same time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, if you'll take roll.
So to confirm, Madam Chair, I'm taking a vote on both items 6 and 9 to move forward, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Chair Wong,
Yes.
Vice Chair Miller,
Aye.
Alternate Goebel,
I'd like to vote the same as last time, so yes on 6 and no on 9.
Can we do it that way or no?
It's set up as a single motion.
Ah. It's set up as a
Madam Chair,
single
I'll
motion.
withdraw my motion. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, thank you.
So it's just 6
Thank you.
now.
understood.
We tried. All right, so we're only voting on 6, going back to just the motion made by Director Voigt and seconded by Director Murphy.
Correction, Madam Chair, Director Murphy made the motion and
Oh,
Voigt
sorry.
did the second.
So the other way, yes.
Madam Chair, real quickly, we do this all the time on consent calendars where people pull an item to register a no vote. Why can't we just do it with these 2 items as well?
No, because you, Supervisor Bartlett's alternate intends to vote yes on one and no on the other. And so when you combine it as 2 items into one motion, then her vote would only count as one answer.
I thought there's a motion from Director Murphy.
Yes, we just went back to that.
And one on Director Wagner on 9, and he just made the motion to approve it as is. Why can't she make the vote on it? It's just a question.
No, we can't do that.
All the time.
The motion's been withdrawn.
And he withdrew his motion, Joe.
Yeah, I know he did now, but he withdrew it because Supervisor Bartlett. It's just a question I didn't understand because I do it on other agencies for consistency. I don't know if it's being done appropriately.
Okay. So what is your vote for item number 6?
Wait, are we still?
Director Miller?
No, we're on Foothill.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes.
Aye, thank you.
Madam Chair, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to start item 6 over.
Oh, okay.
Chair Wong,
Aye.
Vice Chair Miller,
Aye.
Alternate Goebel,
Yes.
Director Beal,
Aye.
Director Chafee,
I was unable to get in for the previous vote. I was aye on the previous vote as well.
noted, thank you. Director Kelly,
Yes.
Director Khan,
Yes.
Director Lombard,
Aye.
Director Murphy,
Aye.
Director Trevor O'Neill,
Aye.
Director Penaloza,
Yes.
Director Taylor,
Yes.
Director Voigt,
Yes.
Director Wagner,
Aye.
Madam Chair, item 6 for the Foothill Eastern passes unanimously.
Okay, and moving on to item number 9. Do I have a motion to, for item number 9 to adopt as staff recommended?
I move. Trish Kelly.
Okay, motion by Chair Kelly. Do I have a second on the item? I'll second to move on.
Second, Beal.
A second by Director Beal. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, if you'll take it.
Chair Wong,
Aye.
Vice Chair Miller,
Aye.
Alternate Goebel,
No.
Director Beal. You may be on mute. Director Chafee,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Yes.
Director Khan,
Yes.
Director Lombard,
Aye.
Director Murphy,
Aye.
Director Trevor O'Neill,
Aye.
Director Penaloza,
Yes.
Director Taylor,
Yes.
Director Boyce,
Yes.
Director Wagner,
No.
looping back, Director Beal, Madam Chair, noting the absence of Director Beal, the item passes 11 to 2.
I think Director Beal is just having internet issues. Okay, thank you. Moving on to our board business, items 10 to 13. And again, as a reminder, if you have any questions, please use the raise hand feature. Our first 2 business items, items 10 and 11, are both related to the agency's annual financial statements. The items will be presented jointly, but then voted on separately. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments for items 10 or 11?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to refer to Ms. Hammond. Do we have any public comments we've received for items 10 and items 11?
No, Madam Clerk, there are no public comments for items 10 or 11.
Do we have any written comments?
We have not received any email or written comments.
Okay, thank you. That will conclude our public comments. Before staff does their presentation, I am going to call on Director Beal, who serves as chair of the Joint Finance Committee, to help introduce the item. Director Beal?
Yes. Thank you very much. I did want to confirm, did you get my vote on the last item? I'm told that there was a problem with my audio, and I was a yes.
Okay, thank you.
Noted. Thank you, Director Beal.
Want to begin?
So, yes, as to this item, the Joint Finance and Investment Committee, we reviewed this item at our September 22nd meeting, and our committee unanimously recommended approval of the audited financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2021. Kathy Lai, audit partner with Crowe, provided our committee with her required audit communications and preliminary report indicating an unmodified opinion, which is great. Our committee was obviously very pleased with the result and with the most desired outcome.
You're back. Great.
Did I cut out?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
After the presentation of the consultant.
Okay. So the presentation was unanimously approved. It was an unmodified opinion, which is great. Our committee was obviously very pleased with that result in the presentation. I know she will be speaking shortly, so I'm going to allow her to provide the audit details. Just suffice it to say, a clean audit is always the most desired outcome. I believe it speaks highly of our management that this year's result is a continuation of our agency's outstanding track record. So I believe this item is going to be presented to the board today by our controller, Jason Ferreira. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Beal. We'll now turn it over to our controller for the staff presentation. Jason?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Jason Ferrer, Controller, and the item before you today is to finalize the audited financial statements for the year ended June 30, 2021. Today we have with us Ms. Kathy Lai, Audit Partner at Crow, and she will give you a brief summary of this year's audit results, and then I will present the recommendation item to the board. So at this time, I will turn it over to Kathy.
Thank you, Jason. Kathy Lai with Crow. Pleasure to be here with you today to present the audit results. Just before I go into the audit opinion that we intend to express, I just wanted to remind the board with respect to the objective of our engagement. Crow's been engaged by TCA to perform an audit of the financial statements as of and for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021. Of course, the objective of the audit is to express that opinion and to determine whether or not those financial statements are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It's important to note that management is responsible for preparing those financial statements that I've referred to, as well as all of the internal controls related to compiling the financial statements. As an auditor, I'm required to conduct my audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. And those standards require that we plan and perform our audit to obtain reasonable assurance that those financial statements are free of material misstatement. So with that, I'll turn to the audit results. I'm pleased to report that we intend to issue an unmodified opinion, as referred to before. That is, in fact, the highest level of assurance. Essentially, I know that name is not always intuitive, so just by way of explanation, essentially the audit opinion states that the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects with respect to generally accepted accounting principles. And so if it is unmodified, there are no exceptions that need to be noted. And so that's excellent news. So that concludes my remarks. I'll turn the time over to Jason and of course be available to any questions after his segment.
Thank you, Kathy. And if we can go to the next slide. So as stated previously, this item was unanimously recommended for approval at the Finance Committee's meeting on September 22nd. And the recommendation for the board today for both the Foothill Eastern and San Joaquin Transportation Corridor agencies is to approve the audited financial statements for the year ended June 30, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from our directors? All right. Seeing none, I will now ask from the San Joaquin Hills Board for a motion to approve this item.
So moved, Director Murphy.
Second, O'Neill.
Second, Director.
Okay, we have a motion from Director O'Neill, Vice Chair O'Neill for San Joaquin, and also one from Director Murphy for Foothill. So I need a second from San Joaquin. Who was that?
This is Director Miller. I'll second Foothill.
Okay, second for Foothill. And then what about San Joaquin? I need a second for San Joaquin.
This is Director Connors. I'll second.
Wagner, second.
Joaquin.
Okay, so I have a second from Connor. So if you can take roll.
Chair Kelly? Yes. Vice Chair Will O'Neill?
Yes.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Heft?
Yes.
Director Hurt?
Yes.
Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Minigar?
Aye.
Director Connors?
Yes.
Director Penaloza?
Yes.
Alternate Stevens?
Yes.
Director Taylor?
Yes.
Director Vic Sorick?
Aye.
Director Wagner?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the item passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And that's for the San Joaquin? Correct. And moving on to the Foothill.
Chair Wong?
Aye.
Vice Chair Miller?
Aye.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Beal? Director Chafee,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Yes.
Director Khan,
Yes.
Director Lombard,
Aye.
Director Murphy,
Aye.
Director Trevor O'Neill,
Aye.
Director Penaloza,
Yes.
Director Taylor,
Yes.
Director Voigt,
Yes.
Director Wagner,
Aye.
looping back, Director Beal, you may be on mute.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the item passes unanimously for Foothill Eastern, item 11.
All right, thank you. Our last two business items, items 12 and 13, are both related to the agency's development impact fee program and our periodic finding requirements under the state law. The items will be presented jointly, but then voted on separately. So Madam Clerk, do we have any written public comments for items 12 or 13?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to refer to Ms. Hammond. Do we have any public comments for items number 12 and 13?
There are no public comments, Madam Clerk.
And do we have any written?
No, we do not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, and that will conclude our public comment period. Mr. Walker, if you can please proceed with the staff report.
Thank you, honorable chairs and directors. I'm Greg Walker, your manager of internal audit. I'll be presenting information about the member agency development fee audits and required reporting under the Mitigation Fee Act requirements. These items were unanimously recommended for approval by the Finance and Investment Committee at their September 22nd meeting. Next slide. The Development Impact Fee Program originally was adopted by the County of Orange in 1985 and later adopted by each member agency through the JPA agreement. Development fees along with tolls are used to repay bonds issued to build the corridors and to help pay for future anticipated improvements without the use of taxpayer dollars. Fees are paid by developers and collected by member agencies on behalf of TCA. Audits of fee collection are conducted to evaluate if fees have been accurately assessed and collected by member agencies. And also, as I mentioned, the Mitigation Fee Act is a requirement that requires annual reporting for the fee programs, as well as every 5 years, the board must make certain findings regarding the fee program. So in the next couple of slides, I'll first present the results of the development fee audits and then discuss the required Mitigation Fee Act reporting. Next slide, please. First off, for San Joaquin Hills, TCA we audit for the calendar 2020 period, and we audited the County of Orange and cities of Dana Point, Irvine, Laguna Niguel, and Mission Viejo. Out of 160 permits reviewed, we did note 3 exceptions. One was an underpayment of $369 and 2 overpayments that totaled little over $9,000. We have refunded the overpayments and we worked with the member agency to successfully collect the underpayment. Next slide, please. For Foothill Eastern for 2020 also, we audited the County of Orange and the cities of Dana Point, Irvine, Lake Forest, Mission Viejo, Orange, and Yorba Linda. Out of 1,800 permits reviewed, we did note 3 exceptions, which were all underpayments totaling a little over $3,000. And we have worked with those member agencies and successfully collected those underpayments. Next slide. Member agencies are selected for development fee audits based on the volume of fees they collect, an audit cycle rotation, and results of prior audits. With the County of Orange and the City of Irvine are audited each year based on their volume of permits issued. For 2021, staff is recommending to include the county and the member agency cities listed respectively for San Joaquin Hills and Foothill Eastern. Next slide, please. Moving on to the Mitigation Fee Act reporting part of the presentation. The Mitigation Fee Act created government code that requires fee programs to present annual information to their governing boards. And the type of information that's required to be reported annually is listed on the slide here. And it is provided, that information is provided for each agency in their respective staff reports. Next slide, please. In addition to the annual reporting information, the requirements of the Act state that every 5 years, the agencies must make certain findings regarding the fee program, including information regarding the reasonable relationship between the fees and the purpose for which they're charged. This information is provided in the staff reports for each agency and in the proposed resolutions and exhibits to those resolutions. Next slide, please. So on this slide and the next are the recommendations that were unanimously recommended for approval by the Finance and Investment Committee at their September 22nd meeting. For San Joaquin Hills, receive and file the member agency audits for the county and the cities listed here for the 2020 calendar period. And then direct staff to audit the county and the cities listed for the 2021 calendar period. Receive and file the Mitigation Fee Act reporting information that is in the staff reports for fiscal year 21. And then adopt resolution S 2021-05, making certain findings relating to the fee program. Next slide. And then similarly for Foothill Eastern, receive and file the member agency audits for 2020, direct staff to audit the county and the cities listed for the 2021 period, receive and file the annual Mitigation Fee Act reporting information, and adopt resolution F 2021-05, making certain findings related to the program. And that concludes my presentation. And I guess I'll hand it over to the clerk of the board.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker, do we have any questions from any of our directors? Director Taylor.
Yeah, given to me, the high number of inaccuracies, I mean, out of 5 agencies, 4 or 5 agencies in one, we find that there are, 3 pretty major inaccuracies, especially overpayments. I wonder how many overpayments to other citizens or, people in our communities that are not being seen, and what can we do to tighten that up and get more accuracy for our residents?
Yeah, actually, each this year is actually the number and the dollar value of discrepancies is actually lower than in past years. Each year, things have gotten progressively better in the last 4 to 5 years, and I think that is a tribute to some of the work that we do throughout the years with our member agencies. There's a two-way communication between the member agency staff that assess the fees and our team here, our development fee team here. And we do monitor as payments come in to make sure that they're accurately assessed. So it's not just during the audit period that there's eyeballs, so to speak, on the program and the fees being collected. And I would note too that if you look at the number of permits that had fees assessed versus the number of discrepancies, it's a relatively low from a percentage standpoint and likewise dollar standpoint.
And this is just a sample, basically, of all of the cities, right?
I'm sorry, say that again, Director?
This would be just a sample of all of the development impact fees paid by all the cities. We're not looking at all of them. We're not auditing all of them. So we probably have a fair amount of inaccuracies if we were to audit the all of the cities.
Well, yeah, that's with respect to the cities and the member agencies in the county that are audited each year. We do look at all the building permits that they issue. We start with that, not just the ones that payments were made on. So we're not necessarily just sampling a small percentage of their building permits. And then through that rotational audit cycle, where we're auditing different cities each year, we're getting coverage of each city over that 2 to 3 year time frame. And if we do see discrepancies that are concerning from one of the cities that we're auditing, we may audit them more frequently than than that 2 to 3 year cycle rotation.
Dr. Connors?
Yes, I don't want to be cynical, but if there were a city that had stated its opposition to paying developer impact fees, would that city be selected for audit more frequently than otherwise?
I think it would depend on, the results of the audits, more than necessarily what they had stated about collection of the fees. And like I said, we have kind of a normal rotation, so maybe that entity might get into the rotation a little more frequently. But again, we would sort of assess that based on what sort of audit results are we getting. Are there a lot of mistakes being made? Does it look like things aren't being collected that should be collected? Things along those lines.
Okay, it just seems to me that it might be a good idea to take a closer look at an agency that had stated that attitude.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Johnson?
Director Connors, your point is well noted, and staff would absolutely consider that in providing our recommendations to the board in terms of who should be audited in the next cycle.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands raised. Do I have a motion from the San Joaquin Hill to move this item? Trish Kelly moves. Okay, moved by Chair Kelly. Do I have a
Cynthia
second?
Connors, second.
Second from Director Connors. Madam Clerk, if you can take roll just for the San Joaquin. And this is only for San Joaquin.
Chair Kelly? Yes. Vice Chair Will O'Neill?
Yes.
Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Heft?
Yes.
Director Hurt?
Yes.
Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Minigar?
Aye.
Director, noted, thank you. Director Connors?
Yes.
Director Penaloza?
Yes.
Alternate Stevens?
Yes.
Director Taylor?
Yes.
Director Vicsoric?
Aye.
Director Wagner?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the item number 12 passes unanimously.
Okay, I'm seeking a motion for the Foothill Eastern Board on items 12 and 13.
Just 12.
I'm sorry,
13.
13, sorry, 13.
Councilor Lake Forest will move the item.
Okay, okay, motion by Supervisor Chafee and seconded by Director Voigt.
Chair Wong?
Aye.
Vice Chair Miller? Alternate Goebel?
Sorry, that was I for Miller. Sorry about that.
Noted, thank you. Alternate Goebel?
Yes.
Director Veal?
Aye.
Director Chafee?
Aye.
Director Kelly? Yes. Director Khan?
Yes.
Director Lombard?
Aye.
Director Murphy?
Aye.
Director Trevor O'Neill?
Aye.
Director Penaloza?
Yes.
Director Taylor?
Yes.
Director Voigt?
Yes.
Director Wagner?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the item number 13 passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And this moves on to our next agenda item, which is our CEO's report. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of quick updates for the board. So first, in terms of our core business, we're doing well. Our expenses for first quarter are going to be slightly under budget, and our revenues for the first quarter are going to be over budget. So that creates a positive combination. And we continue to have strong growth in customer accounts. We added over 90,000 accounts during the first quarter. So in terms of our recovery from the pandemic, we are still on very solid footing. Secondly, just to provide a board an update on some activities from this past week, our industry group, the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association, held its 89th annual meeting here in Orange County. Similar to other public agency and private industry associations, like the American Public Transit Association. IBTTA serves as a knowledge exchange and advocacy channel where TCA has been able to collect best practices from both public and private industry partners to make our operations one of the most innovative and efficient programs in the world. In 2020, I was fortunate to serve as president of the association and was able to secure Orange County as the location for this year's annual meeting. Although the challenges of the pandemic prevented attendance by our international partners, we still had over 700 delegates that came here to Orange County, providing an economic boost to our region. TCA served as a host agency for the event, and I've received dozens of thank yous from executives and elected officials across the country, noting that it was outstanding from start to finish. Meetings began on Friday with our private industry partners, who are typically competitors, coming together to talk about how we jointly move our industry forward. Over the weekend, technical tours were hosted where TCA got to highlight our roads, our innovation, and our award-winning environmental program. I also served as moderator for the opening session on Monday and led some of the biggest names in transportation through a discussion about the future of our industry and transportation as a whole, and shared insights on critical considerations. The conference concluded on Tuesday night with the installation of our 2022 president, Diane Scicchetti, who serves as the Secretary of Transportation for the state of New Jersey. Throughout the conference, TCA staff was able to learn more about best practices and concepts that could benefit our delivery of services to our customers and create more cost efficiencies. I want to make sure I take time to acknowledge our Deputy CEO, Valerie McFall, Lori Olin, our Director of Communications, Rick Carrier, our Director of Tolling Systems, Dave Spears, our Chief Engineer, and Juliette Sue, one of our engineers, for all their contributions. All these people worked very hard over a long period of time to help make this event a success. Our Deputy CEO actually served as Chief Meeting Organizer, overseeing the development of the conference from start to finish, which helped make it very successful. And Lori Olin worked with our team not to only highlight TCA's programs, but she was also the focal point in coordinating with the 12 other California agencies that come together at CTOC to highlight California. So in all, it was a very successful event for our economy and for our industry. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving on to director's reports and new business. Chair Kelly.
Yes, along those same lines of the IBTTA conference, which was recently held, we all received a press release, but I wanted to highlight the fact that Mr. Johnson was recognized with IBTTA's inaugural Distinguished Leadership Academy Alum of the Year Award. And this is in recognition of his significant contributions to the transportation and tolling industry and its focus on advancing transportation. And he was also presented with a resolution of appreciation. And as he noted, Valerie McFall served as one of only 2 chief meeting organizers. And again, TCA hosted the conference's technical tour. So it was a really good conference, and it was rewarding to see our staff members, our CEO and deputy CEO, recognized. I did attend one of the dinners, and it was great to hear all the comments from people all over the country and the compliments that they had for our staff and for Mr. Johnson and for the TCA. So it was very good to hear and to see and to hear in person. That concludes my report, my comments.
All right, thank you. I as well had the opportunity to attend to the receptions for IBTTA, and congratulations to you, Samuel, for an outstanding job, and congratulations on these well-deserved awards and recognition. As well as congratulations to Valerie. I did have an opportunity to speak to a lot of attendees and received a great feedback on the organization. And I also want to recognize our CFO, Amy Potter. I got a chance to talk to a couple of people who really appreciated her presentation about our very unique public-private partnership as well as for providing the TCA's very well-documented history, and it's really innovative. So it's great to have that type of feedback from people around the country to recognize the work that we have done here. Also got to speak to a couple of people who took a drive on our toll road by themselves. So it was good to get the feedback. Apparently there's someone in Pennsylvania who is interested in one of our toll plazas. So we have to figure out how to send one of them to them. The other thing is, as TCA's rep to SCAG, the green print was a point of contention this last week, taking over for 4 hours on this very important document that is part of the mitigation plan for Connect SoCal. Just to let everybody know that the green print has been postponed, put on pause right now, as the regional council will ponder further on this issue. The president of SCAG will be appointing members of the regional council to a committee to prepare a white paper on the green print. I want to thank Director O'Neill and Supervisor Wagner for their leadership on this important document and their contributions and their comments during SCAG. We have a lot of representatives here from TCA on SCAG on the regional council, so it's great to work with all of you as we move forward on this very important document. So that concludes my report. I will now turn to our general counsel, who will take us into closed session. Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first two items for closed session will be a joint session. The first will be public employee performance evaluation under Government Code Section 54957, subdivision B1, for the position of Chief Executive Officer. The second item is conference with labor negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6 for the position of Chief Executive Officer. The agency designated representatives for that discussion are Patricia Kelly, Chair of the San Joaquin Hills Transportation Corridor Agency, Peggy Wong, Chair of the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency, and Jay Treneman, Agency Labor and Employment Council. I will be stepping out for that particular discussion, and Mr. Treneman will be presenting and providing legal support for that discussion. And then at the conclusion of that, there will be a Foothill Eastern only closed session, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation under Government Code 54956.9, subdivisions A and D1, regarding the Reserve Maintenance Corporation and City of San Clemente litigation that is noted on the agenda. We do not anticipate that there will be reportable action.
Do we have any public comments? I think I forgot to ask.
No, we're good.
Okay.
No, Madam Chair.
No public comments on any of our closed items. So with that, we will move everyone into closed session.
So directors, if you can just give us 5 minutes to set up the closed session, and Madam Chair, we can.
Thank you all. We have returned to open session, and I will ask Mr. Joseph, do we have any reportable actions from closed session?
Nothing to report, Madam Chair.
Okay, then with that, we will now adjourn the next regularly scheduled meeting of the San Joaquin Hills Transportation Corridor Agency Board of Directors and the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency Board of Directors will be held on Thursday, November 18th at 9:30 a.m. Meeting is adjourned.